At Direct Service Garage Doors, we are your one-stop shop for all things garage door. From garage door repair and broken spring replacement to new garage doors and openers, we do it all. We're proud to be among the highest-rated local garage door companies in all of Central Arkansas. Our highly trained technicians are available 24 hours a day at no extra cost to you. So if you have an emergency, call us today, 501-244-3667, or visit our website at directserviceoverhead.com. Don't wait days. We'll fix it now.
All right, everybody, welcome. It is Monday. Shout out to Patreon supporters, of course. Let's do this. 3, 2, 1. Yo, what's going on? Did you have yourself a weekend that was like an emotional roller coaster ride if you're a Razorback fan? Oh, my goodness, huh? So many emotions. So many emotions this weekend. All right. We got a little bit to talk about. We know the NFL draft coming up soon. I'm going to kind of get caught up on that for one particular player. We've mentioned his name before. We're going to get there. And, yeah, if you guys have any questions or comments, hey, fire away. Make sure you, again, like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already. We keep growing in subscribers. It's incredible. Really do appreciate you guys. Patreon supporters, we're sitting right now at about 56 members. I don't know that it'll be that way once the month ends. If you guys carry over into the next month, I sure hope you do. And I'm telling you, it goes a long ways to keeping this channel afloat. Austin, what's up, man? Let's roll. Go Hogs, how you doing? 3MG plug, what's the word? Hey, man, I'll tell you what the word is in just a minute. Just a second. We'll get there. We'll get there in just a second. Arkansas, let's first start off with baseball really quick. Razorbacks get swept against Georgia. Not pretty. Not pretty. They lose game one that happened on Thursday at 6 p.m., 6-5. Literally one thing goes their way. They probably find a way to get the dub in game one, and they maybe at the very least, avoid the sweep, right? Game two, they lose 7-3. Ooh, it hurt. It hurt. 7-3, man. Hits were just not there. You know, clutch hitting just wasn't a thing. And then game three, that dramatic ending, the way that things ended in game three, with that kind of the way that thing ended is how the whole series felt against Georgia down in Athens. But again, on Saturday, Arkansas, they fail to avoid the sweep and lose it in the final inning, 9-8. Georgia gets quite the bump. I think I saw their RPI got the bump. They started off horrible in SEC play. I think they're what have they won? 7 straight games now? Is that right? 8 maybe? I don't know. They're on a win streak in this league, and that's saying something. So Arkansas does get swept. Despite that, they're still 7th overall. I think isn't that what D1 baseball put them at? 7th, right? That's not too shabby. You're still in the top 10 despite getting swept. As far as a record looks, you're swept to a really, on the surface, that doesn't tell the whole story. You got swept by the team that was last in the SEC East, and you only dropped 2 spots. Some of that, it has to do with the fact that I maybe when you talk about the RPI, maybe that had something to do with Tennessee sweeping Vanderbilt. Or, I don't know, maybe the people who do these votes or the polls and whatnot, they feel like, you know what, Georgia's actually a hell of a lot better than their record indicates, and it was in Athens. Had this happened at Baum-Walker, yeah, they're probably going to drop out of the top 10, right? I don't know what that would do to their RPI. I imagine it would have quite the effect on their RPI. Very unfortunate loss, the injury bug hitting baseball. Yeah, it's we're not allowed to talk about that, which I find is so strange. We're not allowed to talk about the injuries because then that's making up an excuse. But guys, you know, despite how overall pitching has handled things as well as they can, and as well as they have, pitching has done a pretty good job. Like, I don't know so much. The starters you're kind of iffy about, but then, you're able to go into your middle relief pitching. I mean, they've been able to go in and grab some freshmen. Come out onto the mound. You look at Wood and just, have a pretty strong presence on the mound for a couple of innings. It's the fact that they're able to do that, but it's also the fact that they've had to do that that's so impressive. How many guys, how many arms out of the bullpen have they lost this year? We've already talked about their potential ace pitcher out for the year. Then you lost Tigert. I mean, how many total arms are they missing? It's 3, maybe 4? So they're having to go to these freshmen, and we're sitting here acting like, well, Dave Van Horn just doesn't have it. He'll never do it at Arkansas. He'll never win the big one. Had a shot against Oregon State, and he failed. Because the grass is always greener, right? I just, God, people tell me, I've been watching baseball all my life. Ty, I'm not a fair weather fan. Come on, dude. If you're having a reaction like you are, Georgia is better than their record indicates. Georgia is better than their record indicates. And I know we say the same thing every time Arkansas loses, but that has been the case more times than not to the teams that they've lost to. And not to mention, as the season goes on, some teams get hot, some teams don't. Georgia's hot right now. Now, I don't know. Who knows? They could lose out from this point on. They could lose out. I don't know. I don't see that happening. But just too much just emotional, that immediate reaction is that we suck. Now, I got to admit, our Discord handled it a little bit better than I thought they would. I thought our Discord would have a complete meltdown. They really did. We had a couple people, kind of do what we expect them to do. But overall, I thought it was all right. Mods, I think, kind of stayed on top of it a little bit. Shout out to Longshot and Austin. Appreciate those guys. 5 or more, says 3MG Plug. What are you talking about? 5 arms? They don't have that many. Is it 5? Shout out to John Haas for sharing the Patreon link if you guys want to join. Yeah, man. We're going to do a XP wheel spin. I'm probably going to do a hat giveaway. I've got 1 hat available for giveaway on a wheel spin that I put aside preemptively. If you guys want a hat, if you want one of these things are flying off the shelves, I'm telling you, I didn't make enough. I would have had even more made, but yeah, it might be a minute before I get. Listen, if you want a hat out of this round of hats, you're gonna have to get in while you can, because I've got 1 available for giveaway, which I'll probably do. I might just do for Patreon supporters. I don't know just yet. I might do a Patreon wheel spin for a hat or something. I don't know. Or we might just do one. I don't know. I might have 1 extra hat. I think we actually left one in the car. I think I was counting my hats. I was like, wait a minute. I know I've got this one that's on my head, but I'm missing another one. I think it's in my car. Maybe we'll find a way to give out 2 hats. But right now, everything is for sale. All the hats that we have left, I want to say we're down to about 4 that are available for sale. Not including the other 2. Get them while they pat. What does that mean? Yo, what's up, Chris? How you doing? Hey, make sure you guys like, share, subscribe. Yeah, Razorback baseball. A lot of folks just overreacting. Listen, I don't know with the injuries that they've sustained. I mean, not to mention you're one of the top, one of your top RBI guys at the plate, in a certain hot RBI guy not playing right now, not in your lineup. It kind of feels like if 2 or 3 guys don't get hot at the plate, they might struggle. The bottom of that order, I mean, which is kind of typical, but Arkansas's got some issues, and it all really comes down to, well, who the hell's healthy? Who the hell is healthy? Not having Jared Wagner available I'm telling you, it's a big blow. We know they've struggled. They're trying to find someone to get hot. I like the way the order kind of lines up for them, but not having him, who was top 20, top 15 in the country in RBIs, not having someone like Wagner available is it's a little, it's concerning. He was hot. I mean, you cannot tell me that dude, not having Tigert on the mound to come in and do his thing, like, got to get healthy. That's got to be the key for the Razorbacks moving forward, just getting healthy, both on the mound and guys that are solid at the plate. And again, Wagner is that. Wagner's arguably he's automatic. Not having someone like that in your lineup it's a blow, man. They've just got to get healthy. And they may not. They may struggle to overcome some of this. Hell, I don't know. They've got a really tough game coming up, and I'm going to tell you right now, I almost want to pick Arkansas to lose this game. They've got you-know-who coming up tomorrow, 6:30, Missouri State. Missouri State, who cares way more about baseball than Mizzou does. And they're coming to town. Now, I don't know, how healthy they are and what they're gonna do for a midweek game, but they're gonna take this serious. Meanwhile, Arkansas's limping into this game, getting ready for Texas A&M. This could be you talk about a trap game, if there's such a thing for midweek games. Is that appropriate? Can we say that for baseball? Can you say that? Is this kind of a trap game? Do you go ahead and throw someone out there just to see if they're healthy or not? We know that there's been rumors that Tigert could come back. And if you do, does that end up costing you some hits and maybe some runs? This could be, I guess, a trap game. They could lose this game, and now you're talking about 4 straight losses to, again, on the surface, a Georgia team. When you think of SEC baseball, you damn sure don't think of Georgia. I get it. Their record's not great. They're not ranked. But now you've lost 3 straight to Georgia, and now you're about to lose to Missouri State. And it's not a good Missouri State baseball team. This is not one of their better teams. This is not one of their better matchups. And then, you come home and you're going to play Texas A&M. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, you got more of that Thursday baseball going on. Assuming do we have bad weather lined up for this? What's the deal? I saw rain in the forecast somewhere. Yeah. Oh, wow. 70%, 80% on Wednesday, 70% on Thursday. And then at the moment, it looks like we're supposed to get some sunshine on the weekend. You know how this goes. You just take that with a grain of salt. So, yeah. Who knows? It wouldn't shock me at all if Missouri State gets the win here. Wouldn't shock me at all. I mean, you did lose to Little Rock 11-4 Wednesday, April 12th. Even though the game before that, you beat the shit out of them 21-5. You run ruled them. Only went 7 innings. So, I don't know. I mean, we know Arkansas, fully healthy, is one of the top teams in the SEC. Okay? When you've got someone like Dave Van Horn, when you have the staff that he has, say what you want. You might have some concern about one, maybe pitching or hitting. Where's the timely hitting been? Although I would argue lately it seems like they're getting hotter at the end of these games. I get it. There's some concern here and there. But this is a really well-built team that's just dealing with injuries. I mean, and I know we're not supposed to say that about football. You're not supposed to say that about Brazil and Nick Smith. We were told you can't say that. You can't talk about injuries all the time. And we didn't. We did acknowledge that, listen, not having Brazil had a huge impact on that team. Don't sit here and tell me that it didn't. You could say the same thing about baseball. They've got to overcome this stuff. They got to find the right replacements, which I think Dave's doing the best that he can. Listen, if there's anybody, there's nobody I trust more to try and right the ship, as it were, right, than Dave Van Horn. All right, he's been around for a minute. The expectation, I think, is still getting to the College World Series right now. That is still where I would put them as a team. At the moment, I would argue if you made that list of teams, I think Arkansas is on that list. But to get there, they do need to get healthy. This could get ugly. I'm telling you. Maybe Georgia is just the tip of the iceberg. Maybe we don't realize how bad things really are. And I know they just swept Tennessee, and they beat UCA in a tough midweek game, just beating them last Tuesday 6-3. But maybe this is the tip of the iceberg. Teams are starting to figure out. They're watching tape and film, and they're getting a pretty good idea of what's going on with the Razorbacks, and they're figuring it out on the mound. If you've noticed, their hitting hasn't been as spectacular as it was. Again, injuries. Hey, shout out to not only our Patreon supporters, but also our sponsors, Direct Service Overhead, the Garage Door Company. Same-day services, quality parts, affordable outcomes. Give them a call today if you need some work done on your garage door. 501. I don't know why my screen froze. 501-244-3667. Again, that's Direct Service Overhead, the Garage Door Company. Also, shout out to Apex Tattoo Studio. Walk-ins are welcome. They're in Rogers, 201 South 19th Street. Sweet Pea. Got some cool art. Tap-out sessions are available. Mention Tuss Talk with Ty, you get 10% off. If you want to schedule a time, 479-278-2694. Let's see, what do we have on the docket here? Drew Sanders trying to get drafted here in the first round. Should we just go ahead and make that our odd soul poll? Does Drew Sanders get taken in the first round? Let's do that. Oh, Lord. Does Drew Sanders get taken in the first round of the NFL draft? There you go. Ask your community, it says. Yeah, there you go. There it is. Austin says, I'm so tired of rain. Yeah, I know. Ty Hunter Dickerson said on his podcast, he's 50-50 on a fourth visit. Do you think it's Arkansas? I don't know. I have no idea. Last I had heard, was it KU? He was on a visit to Kansas, and it sounded like he had a good time, or that's what I was led to believe, that he was well on his way. And I think since it's changed. Kentucky got in the mix, of course, so I don't know. Oh, I was reading your comment, Go Hogs for Life, and I was like, what are you talking about? Are the hats fitted or adjustable? They're adjustable. I thought about getting the fitted, but my God, that would have been a nightmare. Yeah, they're snapbacks. Yep. I don't know about Hunter. I don't know. It feels like the portal, it's starting to wind down for basketball. I don't know what they're going to do for a big, if they're going to go after 6'11", or 6'10", 6'11" center, guy with a little meat on his bones. I don't know what they're going to do. It's starting to look like they may just take whatever, pops off the video. So Drew Sanders, so we know, again, the draft is the 27th. It's going to go through the 29th. Thursday, round 1 begins. I think it's 7 p.m. local. And then Friday, you'll have rounds 2 and 3. And Saturday, you'll finish out rounds 4 through 7 at 11 o'clock. Draft is in Kansas City. That's kind of cool. Not that far north of us here. Draft is in Kansas City. The 2023 draft will be broadcast on ESPN, ABC, and the NFL Network. It will also be live streamed through Fubo TV, which you can try for free. Apparently, CBS Sports Headquarters is in on that as well. CBS 247 streaming network will also provide coverage before, during, and after the event. Golly, a lot of coverage. Panthers right now with the number 1 pick. Texans, Cardinals, Colts, Seahawks round out your top 5. Lions, Raiders, Falcons, Bears, and Eagles round out the top 10. I've seen Jets fans get pretty excited about Drew Sanders. Apparently, they believe that's a big need. And they have the, the 13th pick in the draft. Drew Sanders has been. It just depends on where you read. I mean, a lot of people are starting to drop him out of the first round. I don't know why. I mean, he went from Mel Kiper's number 1 or top 3 defensive pick off his board, or top 4, whatever it was, early on in the year, to then dropping him completely out of the first round. But 6'4", 235, arm length 32 inches. Prospect grade is 6.5. Production score 86. Athleticism score 73. Total score 82. Again, this is according to NFL.com. 6'4", 235. Everything I've read says you're better off taking him as an edge guy. Apparently he gets lost a little bit in this is some of the notes that I found. We'll need to add more mass and base strength, inconsistent in reading keys for misdirection, some change of direction delay in coverage. His strengths, however, long, explosive, rangy, and versatile, can line up at inside linebacker or as an outside rusher. I think a lot of teams are going to invest in him as an outside rusher. If that's the case, even though he's versatile and you can kind of do whatever you want with him, this also means he could fit a lot of defenses, right? If he can line up at just a linebacker, over the ball linebacker, and off the ball linebacker, that adds a lot of quality to him. Or when you talk about his versatility, that's what they mean when they talk about his versatility. He can kind of do a little bit of everything. Contact balance keeps him upright and in the play, capable in sideline to sideline pursuit. Again, that speaks to him as an over the middle or over the ball linebacker. Again, sounds like his coverage, especially when there's misdirect, it sounds like his coverage is needs a little bit of work. Sometimes too, they don't mind investing. Remember, he only had 1 season in college as a full-time starter from start to finish. He only had 1 year in college where he was a full-time starter for all games and was available for all games. Only once. So the NFL, some front offices or some GM, some defensive coordinator somewhere is going to say, well, I like him and his versatility as a guy who can line up on or off the ball. His coverage skills we could work on. Arkansas definitely worked on him as a rusher, and it paid dividends for Sanders, because now you're talking about a legit late. I think he's so on the edge there of either being taken at the end of the first round or somewhere. He could be a surprise pick too. Someone could, like Burks was kind of a surprise to people. A lot of people didn't think he was a top 20 pick, and look what happened. The Titans took Burks. Drew Sanders could be that guy, just simply because of his film. My God, he's so explosive off the line of scrimmage. And he could work the 53-yard sideline to sideline. He could work it. I thought his coverage, I didn't think we got enough of his coverage to really know where he was at. Again, you only had 1 year with him. But yeah, I think Sanders, there's a shot that he gets taken in the first round, but a lot of people have him just outside the first round. What's up, Ty? What's going on, Philip? How you doing, man? Charles Harper says, Ty, Hogs will be fine. I think we just play great at home, and road games are hurting us right now. Yeah, well, sure. There is that. Sure. Yeah, I don't think they're in any kind of real trouble, but they do need to get healthy. Home or away, they need to get healthy. It doesn't matter where you play. It's hard when you've already lost 2 crucial pieces to your bullpen. My God. That's hard for anybody to overcome. And you look at how well pitching has kind of bounced back. It's not elite pitching, okay? It's just not. Again, you're throwing freshmen out on the mound. There's a little bit to be concerned there, right? When you're talking about the youth and how much of it he's had to utilize, or first-year guys or whatever. But yeah, I think they're fine. I think they're good at home. I think they're really good at home. I think they're damn near unbeatable at home, but we could find out. A&M could actually be a really good test for Arkansas. Maybe Georgia was a good test for what to expect on the road. God, I hope not. And then maybe A&M will be a good test for you at home at Bum. Oh my God, Baum Walker. I apologize. What's up, Eagle? How you doing, Mike, sir? How many Hogs do you think actually get drafted? That's tough. I thought Landers did a good job of getting his – Landers, I think, got himself drafted with that 40. What was it? 4.37 laser 40 is what they gave him with that size. He had some pretty good production at Arkansas. I don't know where he gets drafted, but I think he gets drafted. Stromberg will get drafted. I think Jaden will probably – I think Hazelwood will get drafted. I feel like I'm missing somebody. Dalton Wagner. Listen, Dalton Wagner finished pretty high on the PFF grades. All right, he finished pretty high on the PFF grades. So I don't know. Anything could happen, right? I could sit here and tell you, oh, they might get 3 drafted, and then they end up just getting 1 or 2 guys drafted, or they could end up with 5 guys drafted. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Doing well. These baseballers just need to keep their heads up. Keep swinging and fighting. Oh, okay. You mean the players. I kind of thought that was a shot at the fans. Keep swinging and fighting. Don't give up. Let's go. That's right, baby. Hey, you guys make sure you like, share, subscribe, okay? Like, share, subscribe. A little bit goes so far. Steelers media saying that if Drew Sanders is still there at pick 32, their second pick, he's coming. Oh, he's going to go end up in Pittsburgh. Okay. What are their picks? Do they have 2 picks? I'll be damned. I'm reading, wait a minute. Chiefs, Eagles. They must have just recently traded. Am I looking at an outdated? I mean, you know how this goes. This stuff changes. There's going to be trades. People are going to trade their let's see. Steelers are at 17. I must be looking at an outdated list here. Because I only see the Steelers at 17. Huh. Well, I think he'd be a good fit there. I really do. I think there's a lot of teams that would benefit from Drew Sanders, but that's just the bias talking, right? Let's see. Scrolling up here. Make sure I didn't forget anything. Oh, shit. I forgot Wagner out, too. Yeah. Yeah, they've got a number of players out. The baseball teams, I don't know. Dang, Drew Sanders and Watt at linebacker. Wow. Yeah, that'd be something special, wouldn't it? But, I mean, you're seeing more and more teams start to kind of – I mean, there are teams that are just completely loaded on the defensive side of the ball. I mean, you know, just completely loaded. All right. Where are we going to next here? Oh, I know. We're going into recruiting. I think we got everything. We're going into recruiting, baby. Let's do this. Let's get an ad out of the way here really quick, all right? Just really quick. Bear with me. All right. Arkansas had themselves a hell of a weekend, baby. A hell of a weekend the Razorbacks had. Huh? They crushed. Razorback football is crushing recruiting right now. Let's talk about it. Charleston Collins. We tried telling you. Otis Kirk and I tried telling you. This guy's going to be a hog. And we felt pretty good. I was telling Patreon supporters, Arkansas is going to go 3 for 3. It's coming. And it did. Patreon chat knew what was up. You guys knew before anyone in that Discord what was going on. And they did exactly that. Now, that third commit, I didn't find out until that morning. I didn't know anything about it until Friday. But Charleston Collins is how you is one of those 3. Great get for Arkansas. 6'4", 250. Was told he's closer to about 255 now. I don't know how that's. I don't know. Take that with a grain of salt. But whatever. It's just 5 pounds. A .924 star. Rated as a top 200 player, according to 247. Number 22 defensive lineman. Number 2 unanimous. Number 2 player in the state of Arkansas. Big, big, big get here. Wilbur D. Mills, Little Rock, Arkansas, part of this 2024 class. 90 overall rated prospect, or 90 overall ranking, I should say. 247 rating. The stars. He's got 4 stars is what I'm trying to say. But he got the .92 on the composite for 247. He's a 221 rank over there on the composite. Again, part of that 2024 class. I like him a lot. Had offers. Now, I don't know. I hate getting into the committable stuff. Someone asked me once, Ty, what's the difference between a committable offer and a non-committable offer? Committable meant this team was serious. They would take his pledge that day. I don't know if that's to be said about Alabama. I do know Freddie Roach and Coleman Hultzer, according to 247, says they were actively recruiting him. Talking about Alabama. Arkansas State was another one, and then Auburn. I, again, don't know how legit all that is, but when you start to see names under the recruited by section, that usually gives a level of what's going on. Like, okay, well, these guys are actively recruiting. I don't know if they would have accepted his commit day one or not. It's Alabama, okay? They and I hate to say this. I was going to say they fart 4 stars, but they really do. I mean, that's not the right. That's not how we do it. That's a little disrespectful. Let's say this. They come across 4 stars quite often. We'll just simplify it like that. In Alabama, again, I don't know how legit that offer was. I'm sure it was, because he's a special player. I like him a lot. I've heard nothing but good things about the young man. Really, really good get. And then you had 4-star according to the 247 composite. He's a 3-star according to just 247. Jaden Allen, 5'10", 160-pound corner out of Aledo, Texas, out of Aledo High School. Again, part of the 2024 class. His offers, pull up his offers here. Arkansas, Texas, Bama, UConn, and Houston. Again, I don't know how legit these offers are, but there are names next to Texas and Alabama. Now, also, I think, too, they probably throw some of those names into that category because that's who they assume is recruiting that player. But I've also been told before, no, that means that player they made contact with that player. I don't know, man. You know how they're not real, upfront about all that, when you're talking about who's recruiting who. But, yeah, I do think this, again, another good prospect. And you're talking about coming out of the state of Texas. He's a top 50 corner. He's a national prospect according to the 247 composite at 353 in the country. Top 30 corner on the composite. Again, and that's why he's a 4-star on the composite, talking about Jaden Allen. All right, how about another big one? 247 composite, loves them some Courtney Crutchfield. Out of Pine Bluff, baby. 6'2", listen, he's closer to 6'3". Otis Kirk and I had this conversation last week about him. He's actually closer to about 6'3", 175, 180 pounds out of Pine Bluff. 3-star on 247, but on the composite, he's a .89. We'll probably get a 4th star on 247, but he's a big get for them. I believe Auburn was all over him, or at least I know that there was some. From what I had been told, that Auburn was definitely interested. Iowa State, Kansas State were the other ones. So you had multiple Power Fives. I think he ended up with about 16 total offers, talking about Courtney Crutchfield. Jaden Allen had, I don't know how many offers he had. Thought I had it here. 12 offers Allen had. And then Charleston Collins ended up with 26 offers. Now, they weren't done there. No, sir, they weren't done. They go out, they get another Metcalf. How about this? Tevis Metcalf, considered an athlete, will definitely line up on the defensive side of the ball for Arkansas. 5'10", 175, out of Parker High School in Pinson, Alabama. Listen, his rankings are kind of all over the place, but what I have heard is this is a really solid get for the Hogs. This is someone they're pretty excited about. Did have Auburn, and Auburn, it sounds to me like they're pretty interested. Colorado had an offer his way as well, along with the other in-state school, Arkansas State. But Arkansas goes into the state of Alabama and grabs themselves another athlete. 5'10", 175 pounds. Yeah, he's considered, depending on, 247 has him as the 64th overall corner. Their composite, they have him as the 82nd overall corner. And then that was it. That's all that happened. That's it. That's all that happened. Oh, what a weekend. Oh, but it wasn't all they did. They went into the portal And they grabbed Var'Keyes gums out of, you know it, UNT North Texas. It's a good get. This is a good get. 6'3", 235. Go watch his film. There's video on this guy. I don't know his 40. I had this conversation with someone. What's his 40 time? I said, well, he looks like he runs like a 4.65 40, but he's so hard to tackle. And he catches with both hands. I don't know his, catch to drop radius. I have no idea. But Var'Keyes gums, listen, 34 catches, 458 yards, 5 touchdowns. That's an average of 14 yards per reception. This guy broke records at North Texas, okay? As a redshirt freshman at North Texas, Gums set program single-season records for tight end with 34 grabs, 458 receiving yards. He had 5 touchdowns, and he was first-team all-conference USA. He went into the portal because, they were after his teammate. Forget that kid's name. Roberts, was that his name? I know Arkansas was all over that guy. They were all over him. They didn't get him. I forgot where he ended up going. I want to say Baylor. I could be wrong. And then this cat, who I think, as far as a pass-catching tight end, that's what he is. They went out and they got themselves a hell of a tight end here. I mean, this really could. You could debate or argue, put up the claim, if you will, that this is one of the best prospects they've grabbed out of the portal so far. One of the best. Maybe one of the top 3. He went into the portal April 15th. So it's not like they were all over him and Roberts, and they swung and missed on Roberts, so they settled for one guy. No, this guy just went into the portal April 15th. And they pulled him out. Arkansas got them a good one, man. 5 touchdowns for a redshirt freshman. 458 yards. I think he had a game where he caught 2 or 3 balls but had close to 100 yards receiving. He's got the hands, man. He looks to me like someone who will sacrifice his body to make the grab. And, oh, yeah, by the way, he may not be a 6'5", 260-pounder. He looks like he runs with authority. I don't know how fast he is. Again, I'm guessing. He didn't have that kind of lightning speed. I think Shamar Easter's probably more athletic. Haas is probably more athletic. Washington. But then there's just guys who bring it on the field and they just have that whatever it is that makes them special. And I think Var'Keyes Gums is that guy. This is a hell of a get, man. Hell of a get. I think he was a 3-star prospect, but a 4-star transfer prospect. And Arkansas's done that time and time again since the portal thing has come along. Razorbacks are crushing it. They're killing it. They're doing a hell of a job. 6'3", 170. Who's 6'3", 170? What are you talking about? Is that one of the players? One of the high school? I don't know about tiny. I mean, you got to remember these are high school prospects. They're gonna have time to build and add weight. That's what I will say. That's one thing they've done really well. Paul Raymond says the number 11 class, high school class, number 8 transfer class. That is accurate. Yes, Arkansas right now 11th in the country. Transferred, of course, you got to go back to the previous year, right, when you look at the transfer ranking, but it's in the top 10. They're not done. I at this point, I know there's a lot of offers. Patreon supporters have access to those targets. They have access to those. I know there's some names here that we added. Anthony Wilson, who's a safety, 5'10", 200 pounds, redshirt junior, graded out really high. Hang on, who's the other one? Brandon Gant. I don't know anything about this guy. I know he had 33 tackles, but I couldn't find a PFF grade on him. Brandon Gant, G-A-N-T, has entered the portal, and I guess Arkansas's made contact. And there was one more. Jaheim Thomas, who's a linebacker out of Cincy, 6'3", 245 pounds, who Arkansas has also, I believe, have pulled the trigger and offered him. So they're not done in the portal. We know that much. There's still Jaden Muskrat. Now, I haven't seen any news on him. I know he just came off, was it Auburn? Who the hell did he visit last weekend? I think he just came off a visit. But he played at Bentonville West for like a year. Jaden Muskrat did. I listen, just stay tuned on him. If we have any updates, I'll make sure I'll go and look him up later today, find out what's going on, the latest with him. I'll try to do a little bit of digging, asking around. But I do have some possible news on him. But Patreon members, I've already shared that with you in Patreon chat. So I'll try to give you guys some refreshers there. Hopefully today, assuming I have time. All right. Hey, for all you who are in here and you're just joining us, like, share, subscribe. Like, share, subscribe. I know you could do it. Let's see. Will Gums play into the Enos? Okay, so here's what's interesting. This is what's interesting about this guy. This is not who I would have expected them to go after, because they do have a Ty Washington, a guy who can be a hell of a pass catcher, right? They do have the freshman. They have Easter and they have Haas, however you pronounce that last name. You know, they only have one real experienced blocker, and that's Nathan Bax. I thought they were going to go after a 6'5", 260, 250, basically like an extra tackle. I kind of thought that's what they were looking for out of the portal for a tight end, and instead they go and they grab an absolute playmaker in Var'Keyes Gums. I'm telling you, go right now. For those of you who are playing NCAA 14 or you're playing NCAA Revamped and you're updating your roster, make him like 84 overall. I would say 85, but I don't do odd numbers. I only do even. I don't do odd. If you look up and down my roster, it's all even numbers. I don't do odd. I don't know why. Maybe I'm a little touch of the OCD with that. I don't know. But he's an easy 84, maybe higher. I think he's going to have some pretty good production this year. It also kind of makes you wonder, you know, someone like Ty Washington, who I thought was going to take on that role as a freshman. He and Haas were going to try it, like they're going to switch those guys out and they're going to be your primary check down targets. You know, you're going to see a lot of 2 tight end set this year. I say a lot. You're definitely going to see 2 tight end sets now. And that doesn't mean they're going to run the ball out of it either, which is what you would expect. Enos will throw the ball. We saw that in spring camp. He's going to throw the ball at the 2 tight end set. He'll utilize the second tight end one way or another. And I think, you know, look, I think this offense could be successful if they could find one of these guys to step up and go and play into that role. Again, I thought they're going to go grab another, and I hate to say this, nothing against backs. I thought they're going to kind of, you know, step up that direction. Go grab themselves a 6'4", 255 or 6'5", 260 blocking tight end, or a guy who you could sit in motion and use him as a block out if you're trying to run to whatever side of the ball. He was going to be like a lead blocker, kind of play like that position that we've seen before in the past, especially out of these offenses that like to utilize the RPO. And we know Enos is going to use a little bit of RPO. He's going to do a little bit of that. It's not going to be like Kendall Briles where it's RPO all the time, but you're going to see a little sploosh, if you will. I don't say splash, I say sploosh. Going to get a little sploosh of 2 tight end set and a little RPO action. I thought they're going to go grab themselves another big guy. You know, someone who might be a step up from Bax. Nothing against Bax. I think he stepped into that role pretty well through spring break. Maybe they're just happy with Bax, and they're like, listen, you know, we're fine there. Bax is going to be the guy. He's going to be fine. He's going to be great. And I thought he did okay as a blocker. It's kind of hard to tell, but I thought he did okay as a blocker, but I kind of felt like that's – or in case they do want to run the ball a lot out of the 2 tight end set, why not go grab a bigger guy? But – they go and get this playmaker who I like a lot, Var'Keyes Gums. I'm telling you, to me, as a redshirt sophomore, he's an 84, maybe higher. For those of you who like the odd numbers or who don't really care like I do, maybe he is about an 85. I think he's going to put up some big numbers this year because that means, listen, they don't go and get someone like that with the expectations of him just backing up a freshman. There's just no way. Now, what could happen is through fall camp, we come to find out that he really doesn't match Enos' system, and maybe he does kind of fall back a little bit. That could happen. Again, we're talking about North Texas. We're talking about Conference USA. It's a little bit different, stepping up. That doesn't always translate what you do at that level to this level. Doesn't always translate, and that is absolutely – that could be the case here. I think I'm leaning on him probably being quite the baller at Arkansas as that receiving tight end target, that nice little check down hitch target, or maybe he's ballsy enough to run over the middle. Why wouldn't he be? 6'3", 240 pounds. I'm sure he'll do just fine catching the ball over the middle. And he runs players over. You talk about yards after catch. Do they have a yards after catch tight end on this roster? We don't know. A lot of freshmen or redshirt freshmen. Nathan Back's, more of a blocker. Like we said, we've kind of established he's more of a blocker, right? Maybe Bax has developed into a two-role kind of guy tight end. Maybe he does catch the ball. That's going to be my next poll, by the way, on the YouTube community page. Which tight end? I don't know if I want to do receptions or touchdowns, maybe receptions. Which tight end or total yards? Which tight end ends up with the most receiving yards this year? I haven't made up my mind yet, but the tight end room all of a sudden, it was already interesting before. Now it got really interesting because you feel like they've got a handful of legitimate pass-catching tight ends. Again, when you've got a backfield like Rocket, DeBinion, Green, when you got a running dual-threat quarterback in KJ, who's more of, I get it, he's more of RPO, and we're going to see, I think we're going to see percentage-wise less RPO. Doesn't mean he's going to run a hell of a lot less, but he's going to run less. But when you have a backfield, and we know they're going to utilize end-arounds, I think that's going to be, I'm not going to say it's going to be a heavy part of the offense. You're going to see some receiver end-arounds. You're going to see some guys coming out of motion. We saw a little bit of that in spring, and I think we saw some of that in the scrimmage. So why not have as many playmaking tight ends as you can have? But also, if you want to run the ball, maybe it would do yourself a solid to have another guy who's built like Bax is, and maybe a little bit more athletic and a little bit more weight and power behind him, right? What happens if Bax goes down? God forbid, knock on wood. What do you do? Are you going to ask? Maybe it's Washington. Maybe they feel just as good about Washington. He looked a little bulked up. He looked like he gained a little bit of muscle. Maybe they're fine with where they're at, and that's why they went and they grabbed a pass-catching tight end like Var'Keyes. Again, go watch his film. He breaks tackles, catches with both hands. Good. There's one play where he's going out of bounds, but he makes the right move and just kind of cuts it upfield. It's pretty fun to watch. I think Arkansas's in for a good one there. Let's see. Would Enos motion over one of those tight ends into a fullback lead block? Possibly, yeah. I think we saw a pretty good portion of what Enos is going to do. I think we saw a pretty good portion of it, but I think there's still so much that they left out. I don't think they want the whole world knowing everything, even though Sam says, he said something to the effect of, it's not really a secret. Enos, what he did at Maryland and what we're going to do here. But I do think they've still got some tools left in the toolbox. Let's see. He's got to have good hands with a name like Gums. It sounds like a nickname, though, doesn't it? Gums? That's his last name, Gums. Hey, what's up, Gums? Crazy how well the staff has recruited. Can't wait till June. Yeah, they've done an incredible job. I've done an incredible job. 4 tight end set. Who do you want to try? Let's see. Who do you want to try to take with a head? Right. Okay. I see what you're saying. 240-pound Rocket. I don't know that they're going to keep him at that weight. I really don't. I don't know if they're going to keep Rocket. I think these guys are going to trim down a little bit. I think they're going to trim down a little bit, Mike. I do. I don't think they're going to be that heavy. I could be wrong. I just don't know if they want to be that heavy. And they're going to they're not going to play as fast as they did under Kendall. Like Stephen Hamner said, like what he said last week when we had him on for the Patreon chat. He said that, it's slower compared to what we've seen before. Now it is a scrimmage, and they were slower by design to some extent, but I do think it's not going to be as fast as they were last year. Let's look at our odd soul poll here, and if you haven't taken it yet, go ahead. Does Drew Sanders get taken in the first round of the NFL draft? 89% of you on the Odd Soul poll say, yeah, he's going to get taken. 11% of you say no. That's our Odd Soul poll. If you haven't taken it yet, go ahead and do that. Odd Soul, located on Emma Street, right here in Springdale, Arkansas. Fantastic pies, IPAs on tap, great staff, fun environment. The Odd Soul. Hey, if you want to watch a baseball game, they'll have it up on the tube, man. Or if they don't, ask them to. But they typically have Arkansas sports on the tube. But, again, great pies, IPAs, all kinds of stuff on tap. It's great. It's good stuff. The Odd Soul poll. Yeah. Reading some more. A head full. Yeah. I knew what you knew. I knew what you meant, Mike. I got you, brother. I got you. Arkansas did swing and miss on a recruit. Unfortunately, Taylor Tatum. I saw that on Twitter. Arkansas was definitely all over this guy. I'm kind of surprised. 5'10.5", 205. At the time, I think a lot of people felt like he was going to end up at Michigan. But he cut his list down to the top 7. Arkansas did not make his list. It's running back. It's not a huge blow. You feel pretty good about what's going on there. You're not going to get them all. But that was one they were recruiting pretty heavily. 4-star, number 2 running back in the country, top 10 player out of the state of Texas. I mean, anytime he's at a long view. Anytime you're going after someone like that, you shouldn't be too shocked you don't make their short list. But someone's going to end up with a hell of a running back. Taylor Tatum's a hell of a back. So, all right. Is that it? Did we get it all? Did we nail it home? Hey, let's get those likes up. What are we doing? We could do better on the likes, right? Shout out to the we don't have any members in here, I don't think, at the moment, but shout out to Tuss Talk with Ty members, YouTube members. That's awesome. I don't push it a whole lot. I really don't. But I will give you guys recognition. But if you want to join, I guess there's a way to do it on the somewhere down below on the page here. Yeah, Arkansas again. Just to kind of sum this up, Arkansas football killing it in the portal right now, killing it in high school recruiting. They're kind of just doing it all. I like all these commits they got over the weekend big time. I think they're all really good gets. Tevis Metcalf. Of course, he's the younger brother of a player on the roster. Courtney Crutchfield, it's a big one there. Charleston Collins and Jaden Allen. Those are your 4 commits total. When you the whole list there, those are everyone, including Var'Keyes Gums. Arkansas ended up with a hell of a weekend. I can't remember the last time they got 3 4-stars and did as well as they did over the weekend as on the surface. Recruiting as a whole, when you look at everything that they accomplished this last weekend, that's great. Now, I don't know, the portal will be closing up soon. I don't know who else is really out there that right now that I would say, oh, this is going to be the next commit. I don't know. I don't know anything yet as of right now. That could change by the end of the day. We know with transfers, these guys are experienced. They've been through the recruiting process before. They know and understand. They got to be a little bit more they got to be careful what they say to family, to friends. It's a little bit more difficult. These guys out of nowhere will commit, and that the Var'Keyes Gums commit we thought was going to happen earlier. I think the day before when Coach Fountain put out a tweet about what a good day to be a Razorback, whatever he said. A lot of people thought he was going to commit that day, and then he ended up committing later. I think it was the next day after that tweet. You just never know. So all I can say is we do our best with Patreon chat to try and keep everybody up to date. But great weekend, man. Great weekend. So, all right, that's going to do it. I appreciate you guys. Shout out to Patreon supporters, direct service overhead the Garage Door Company, our sponsors, right? Odd Soul and the Apex Tattoo Studio. If you're looking to get inked up, go to Apex. If you want fantastic pie, go to the Odd Soul. And if you need some garage door work done, go hit up direct service, all right? Okay, that's going to do it for the show. Remember, like, share, subscribe. I'll see you guys. I might be live Friday. Right now, the plan is to probably do at least one more live this week. If not, I'm going to put out some edited content this week, or there could be some clips from this show uploaded. Who knows? Who knows what we got going on? But there's still some more content one way or another that's going to happen this week. All right, I'll see you guys when I see you.